Sire, if you will allow me to explain.
On your knees!
I have failed you. Arrogance led me to be defeated by the boy and his witch. Make my death painful, so others may learn and grow stronger from it. I beg you, Grand Regent Thrag.
No. No, I will not reward failure. You have work to do yet.
Invincible Season 4 doesn't start with Mark becoming stronger. It starts with him becoming something else. Across episodes 1, 2, and 3, we're not just watching new threats show up. We're watching Mark slowly lose control. And the scariest part? Most people didn't even catch it. Because while everyone is focused on the Sequids, or Conquest breaking out, or the Viltrumite war coming back, the real story is happening underneath all of that. Mark is already breaking, and by the time we reach the end of episode 3, with Eve standing there alone, realizing she's pregnant, you start to understand something terrifying. This isn't the beginning of a hero's rise. This is the beginning of his fall. When Season 4 opens, the world looks like it's recovering. Cities are being rebuilt. People are trying to move on. And Mark, he's trying to be everything at once. A hero, a protector, a symbol. He and Eve are taking on more responsibility than ever before. But here's the problem. Mark isn't healing. He's carrying everything, every fight and every loss and every mistake. And it's starting to show. You see it in the way he talks. You see it in how quickly he gets frustrated. You see it in how fast he jumps to extreme solutions. This isn't the same Mark from earlier seasons. This is someone under pressure, someone who is tired, someone who is dangerously close to snapping, and episode 1 wastes no time proving that. The Sequids aren't just another alien threat. They're a test. Because unlike most enemies, Mark has faced. This isn't about strength, it's about choice. The situation spirals fast, the infection spreads, civilians are at risk, containment is failing, and at the center of it all is Russ Livingston, the last infected host, the one keeping everything together. Now Mark has a decision to make. Wait and risk the entire outbreak exploding out of control, or act immediately and kill him. No hesitation, no backup plan, no guarantee he's right, just a choice. And Mark chooses to kill him right there. In that moment, something shifts. Because this isn't a Viltrumite. This isn't someone trying to conquer Earth. This is a human being. And Mark doesn't try to save him. He doesn't look for another option. He decides and he acts. And just like that, he crosses a line. This is the most important moment in all 3 episodes because it's not about whether Mark was right. You can argue he saved lives. You can argue there was no other choice. But that's not the point. The point is, Mark is now willing to make that choice. And once you cross that line, it gets easier to cross it again. Cecil sees it, and his reaction tells you everything. He doesn't condemn Mark. He understands the logic, but he warns him. Because Cecil knows something Mark doesn't want to admit. This is how it starts. This is how you slowly become the thing you were trying to fight. And just when things already feel unstable, the show drops one of the biggest bombs possible. Conquest is alive. Not only alive, but secretly imprisoned by Cecil this entire time. Think about what that really means. Cecil looked at everything Conquest did. The destruction, the bodies, the scale of that fight, and instead of finishing it, he kept him locked away, studied, hidden. That alone tells you how far Cecil is willing to go, because to him, Conquest isn't just a threat. He's an asset, a weapon, and that decision, that's another mirror to Mark's situation. Both of those decisions are going to come back to haunt them. When Conquest wakes up, there's no dramatic buildup, no struggle, no tension about whether he'll succeed, because the truth is, he was never really contained. The second he decides to move, it's over. The facility doesn't fail because of a mistake. It fails because it was never enough, and that's what makes this so unsettling. There was no real safety, no real control, just the illusion of it. And then he goes back, not to hide, not to recover, but to report, standing in front of Thrag. And here's where things get even more dangerous, because Conquest didn't fail in the way we expected. He didn't lose his place, he didn't get discarded. Instead, he's told there's still more to be done, which completely flips the situation. Because now this isn't revenge, this isn't unfinished business, this is strategy. This moment is the show telling us the Viltrumites are not reacting anymore, they're planning. And Conquest? He's no longer just a brutal enforcer, he's a piece on the board, which means the next time we see him, it won't just be chaos, it'll be intentional, and that's way more dangerous. While everything is falling apart on Earth, the show quietly zooms out, because the real storm isn't local, it's cosmic. Through Nolan, Alan, and the Coalition, we start to understand something much bigger. The Viltrumites are not invincible, and they never were. The Scourge virus isn't just backstory, it's a ticking time bomb, a weapon that nearly wiped out an entire empire, and more importantly, a weapon that still exists. That alone shifts the balance of power completely, because for the first time, there's leverage, a way to fight back, a way to win. But here's the problem. Winning with the virus doesn't feel like winning, because this isn't just a weapon, it's extinction. Using it means wiping out the Viltrumites completely. Men, women, children, everything. And that's where the real conflict begins. Because the show is no longer asking, can they stop the Viltrumites? It's asking, should they? This is where everything loops back, because eventually, this decision will land on Mark. The same Mark who just killed Russ. The same Mark who is already starting to justify extreme choices. So when the time comes, and he's faced with something even bigger, what do you think he's going to do? That's the setup, that's the tension. And it's building fast. Then come the Flaxons. And this isn't a repeat of what we've seen before. This is evolution. They've learned from their last defeat. They've adapted to Earth's environment. Their technology is stronger. Their strategy is sharper. And this time, they're not just invading, they're prepared to stay. The battle pushes everyone to their limits. And this is where Robot and Monster Girl step up. They make the decision that no one else can make. They go through the portal, into unknown territory, into enemy ground, and they succeed. They stop the invasion, they cut it off at the source, but the victory doesn't feel like a win, because the second that portal closes, everything changes. Robot and Monster Girl aren't just strong fighters, they're stabilizers. They bring balance, strategy, control, and now they're gone. And Earth doesn't even fully realize what it just lost. This isn't random. This is the show quietly removing pieces from the board, one by one, weakening Earth right before something much bigger hits. So when Conquest returns, or when the Viltrumites make their move, there are fewer people left to stop them. And that's not a coincidence, that's setup. Throughout these episodes, something feels off with Eve. Her powers aren't stable, she hesitates in fights. She struggles in moments where she normally wouldn't. At first, it feels like stress or fatigue, but the show keeps hinting something isn't right. And then we get the truth. Eve is pregnant, and the way the show reveals it is perfect. No big dramatic speech, no immediate confrontation, just a quiet moment, a realization, and suddenly everything clicks. Her powers, her hesitation, her instability, it all makes sense. But more importantly, it changes everything, because now this isn't just about Mark anymore. This isn't just about Earth. This isn't just about war. There's a child involved, a human, Viltrumite hybrid. And in a world where Viltrumites are already watching Earth, that child becomes something else entirely. A target, a weapon, or something even more dangerous. By the end of episode 3, all the pieces are in place. Mark has crossed a line. He's losing control. Conquest is back. The Viltrumites are moving. Earth is weaker, and Eve is carrying a future that could change everything. And Mark doesn't even know yet. He thinks he's still in control. He thinks he can handle it. But every decision he's making is pulling him closer to something he swore he would never become. Omni-Man didn't become who he was overnight. It happened slowly. One decision at a time, one justification at a time, one line crossed after another. And now, Mark is on that same path. The only question is, will he realize it before it's too late, or are we watching the fall of Invincible?